Greetings. This is Paul the Poke from PaulthePoke.com. Today's topic, restore and rebuild Jerusalem. So we're picking up at Daniel 9, verse 25. So you are to know and discern that from the issuing of a decree to restore and rebuild Jerusalem until Messiah the Prince, there will be 7 weeks and 62 weeks. It will be built again with plaza and moat, even in times of distress. So who issued the decree to rebuild Jerusalem? So, and the issue is Jerusalem. And when you're looking at the biblical texts, it's important to read very carefully. I think this was documented very well by J. Dwight Pentecost in Things to Come. There are instances where decrees are made regarding the rebuilding of the temple. And so we got 3 examples of those. Cyrus made a decree to rebuild the temple in 2 Chronicles 36, verses 22-23. Darius supported Cyrus's decree of the building of the temple in Ezra 6, verses 3-8. And Artaxerxes went to Jerusalem to support the idea of a rebuilt temple in Ezra 7, verse 7. In Scripture, there's only one decree made for rebuilding of Jerusalem, and this occurred when Nehemiah went before King Artaxerxes of Persia. And so I know this is a long Scripture reference, but I think it's important that we take a look at all of it in its context, and it's made really clear. In the month of Nisan, and we're going to break this down further too as this series continues. In the month of Nisan, in the 20th year of King Artaxerxes, because this is this time that is being stated. This is when God starts his clock. So this is key. This whole thing is ridiculously key because God's clock's going to start in the month of Nisan in the 20th year of King Artaxerxes, when wine was before him. I took up the wine and gave it to the king, give him a little drink. Now I had not been sad in his presence. And the king said to me, "Why is your face sad, seeing you are not sick? There is nothing but sadness of the heart." Then I was very much afraid. I said to the king, "Let the king live forever. Why should not my face be sad when the city, the place of my father's graves, lies in ruins, and its gates have been destroyed by fire?" Then the king said to me, "What are you requesting?" So I prayed to the God of heaven, and I said to the king, "If it pleases the king, and if your servant has found favor in your sight, that you should send me to Judah, to the city of my father's graves, that I may rebuild it." And the king said to me, the queen sitting beside him, "How long will you be gone, and when will you return?" So it pleased the king to send me when I had given him a time. And I said to the king, "If it pleases the king, let the letters be given me to the governors of the province beyond the river, that they may let me pass through until I come to Judah. And a letter to Asaph, the keeper of the king's forest, that he may give me timber to make beams for the gates of the fortress of the temple, and for the wall of the city, and for the house that I shall occupy." And the king granted me what I asked, for the good hand of my God was upon me. And that's Nehemiah talking to King Artaxerxes. And that starts God's clock from that decree. Now we're going to get into when that actually was, and there's an actual date in the month of Nisan in the 20th year of King Artaxerxes. And from that moving forward, we go back up to Daniel 9:25, there will be 7 weeks and 69 weeks, or 62 weeks, for a total of 69 weeks, or 483 years. And the math of it's pretty straightforward once you know when that decree is. And you're going to find out Jesus walked right on into Jerusalem to the day. Imagine that. God, a God of precision. But that's coming later. But at any rate, wanted to get that started. Restore and rebuild Jerusalem. This is all part of a series. Gabriel is speaking to Daniel. And, he's in 9:25. We got a couple more verses to go, but Daniel 9:25 is loaded. And we're going to break down the timing of that, when the decree was made, and from there to the time of Jesus, 483 years. And this whole prophecy has yet to be completed. And here we are, golly, 2,500 years later or so. And there's 7 years left on that decree, and appears to be getting closer. So appreciate you guys following along. Please feel free to share with others at PaulthePoke.com. You can click on the blue bar, sign up with an email address. You'll be notified every time we send something out. Things are kind of quiet right now, but I would look for things to pick up if we get some clarity on the election with Biden and Trump. It seems like the world's kind of sitting around waiting for things to happen. But I think once we get some clarity and direction, things are going to happen pretty quick. You can just tell people are anxious and ready to do stuff. So at any rate, appreciate everybody following along. I've been mentioning this quite a bit too. You can follow us on social media, Twitter and Facebook. Highly recommend people getting on Parler. Once you've been on Parler, you're going to realize how much some of your stuff's been restricted and censored. Information flows much easier and can speed around the internet at a much faster rate with more people seeing it, more people sharing. For now, they say they're not going to squelch freedom of speech. I hope that's the case. At any rate, appreciate everybody following along. Hope you have a great evening. Talk to you later. Bye.